Hi, fellow Alaskans. It's Dave Ritchie here. I'm running for the United States House of Representatives here in Alaska, the seat presently held by Nick Begich, who I hope doesn't hold that seat very much longer. Uh, I'm a commercial fisherman. I'm based in Sitka, Alaska, and I wanted to say a few words about Nick Begich because in my opinion, and I hope it's either yours or one that you'll consider reviewing, I think that Nick has disqualified himself from a place in government based on four seminal votes. I'm going to tick them off. I'm going to talk a little bit about each one. The four votes are: he voted for war with Iran, he voted for merging the United States military with the Israeli military, he voted for tariffs, and he voted to cut your health care. Now, going in order, the vote for war with Iran. This is evidence that Nick Begich is a kept man because there's no, at least with the Iraq war, remember when they sold us that BS war? They spent a full year building momentum for that with a bunch of crap, which turned out to be crap. And a lot of people knew it was crap ahead of time. But anyway, this time they just did it because they didn't care what you thought, right? They didn't care what kind of economic pain it would bring upon Alaska, America, the world. And we're seeing the evidence of that right now. And one of the reasons why this was such a short-sighted war is like all of the 18 alphabet agencies, things like CIA, NSA, all them intelligence agencies said, don't do this. This is a bad idea. The reason they did is because they're going to close the Straits of Hormuz. They're going to, or you're not going to be able to occupy, you're not going to be able to evade, you're not going to be able to affect regime change. All of the reasons for this war are pretty much off the table. We're trying to get back to what we had before we started the war, which is just to open the Straits of Hormuz. And right now we have this ridiculous blockade that all we're doing is playing this game where we're risking economic ruination for Alaska, our country, and the world. And right now, the strategic petroleum reserves are being raided. Well, it's a good thing they're doing that because otherwise your gas would be $9 or $10 a gallon already. But there's all this market manipulation going on, and the price of oil is being artificially suppressed. But that can't last forever. And within weeks, we're supposed to be at a point where they're in salt caverns, the strategic petroleum reserves in Louisiana and Texas. They have to fill it with water to be able to get the oil out of it. That's where we're at with this. So that's not going to work. It's bad for our country. It's bad for our economy. It's bad in every way possible. And the only reason we did this is because somehow Bibi Netanyahu was in the Situation Room on the eve of war, dog-walked Trump into believing this would be easy, the Straits of Hormuz wouldn't be closed, and that you could have effect a regime change, none of which happened. They're all demonstrably wrong, and they were warned that they were wrong. So Nick Begich was wrong, completely. And he voted for it, continues to support it. The other thing he did is he just recently, in the House, and it hasn't passed in the Senate, thank God, and I hope to God it does not, he voted to merge the United States military with the Israeli military. You know, the same people that brought you this genocide that Joe Biden funded to the tune of $70 billion. Thanks, Joe Biden. And apart from the fact that we've given our special ally $320 billion over the years, the first thing that Israel decided to do upon our allied war with Iran was invade Lebanon. Now they're like washing their hands of it, like, oh, Iran's your problem. They got what they wanted, We're the suckers here. We're the chumps, and we're paying for this. And I don't know about y'all, but I kind of resent the fact that our taxpayer dollars are going to subsidize the country of Israel and their military, and people like Thomas Massey get voted out of office in Kentucky in this like nowhere district simply because he's critical of Israel. Does that seem like a problem to you? Because it does to me. So this merging of the United States military with the Israeli military is absolutely an abdication of American sovereignty. There's no other way to put this. And Nick Begich thinks this is A-OK. I don't know that anybody's ever asked him. Could somebody, for the love of God, ask Nick Begich why he thinks this is a good idea? Is our military so hapless that we need the Israeli military? We need to cede the sovereignty of our country to Israel? Really? Is that how poorly you think of America, Nick? It doesn't make sense. The third thing that Nick Begich did is he voted for tariffs. Again, Nick ain't a dummy, but he knows he's got to get in line because that's the way it works, right? So he's a kept man. He voted for something he knew, he had to have known, were going to cause pain and increased prices for all Alaskans. He had to have known that, and yet he voted for it anyway. Why? It's a form of cruelty. That's what it is. He put the interests of being a company man for his party above the interests of all Alaskans. That's unacceptable and it's disqualifying. And the fourth thing is, Nick Begich cut your health care. Now, why'd he do that? Well, there's no money. We got to have money. Well, where'd that money go? That money went to give tax cuts to billionaires because that's what's important to Nick Begich. So, well done you, Nick. That's where your priorities are. But you can talk about what a Rube Goldberg American healthcare is, and it is, but this is something that people count on, and it's better than nothing, and Nick pulled the rug out from under y'all. So if you think that's fine, and you want to say, yeah, whatever, to me, I'm so sick of this tribalism. I'm sick of red or blue or any of this crap. I mean, just look at what people do, It's like Jesus used to say, by their fruit you shall know them. Nick's fruit is one of particular cruelty. Because to cut Alaskans' health care when they're counting on it, and if you ever notice, he's got these long monkey arms when it's time to vote for war. He can reach his wallet then for the vote, right? But as soon as it comes time, and this is before the war, right? Plenty more money was available at that time, but no, we didn't have any money. He's got these tiny little Tyrannosaurus Rex arms that can't reach his voting wallet when it comes time to cut your health care. Happy to do that. He's happy to do that. So defend that, Nick. Let's hear what you have to say about why you think it's a swell idea to sacrifice American sovereignty by merging the United States military with the Israeli military. Let's hear a little bit about that, Nick. And then let's hear a little bit more about why you think it's okay to give tax cuts to billionaires, cut Americans' health care, and then vote for tariffs. And then vote for a war that's seeing the prices of everything go through the roof. Make it make sense. Because it don't. So, early voting starts August 3rd. The primary's on the 18th. You can only vote for one person in the primary. The top 4 go on to ranked choice voting in November. If you'd consider voting for me in August 18th or before, I'd very much appreciate it. And I thank you for your consideration. And I would just say, you ain't got to vote for me at anybody but Begich. David Ritchie, wishing you well.